never takes a rest. Oh yeah. Sports, pop culture, wrestling too. We got it all with the very best. Tune into the filter-free podcast for the latest in entertainment news. TNA Top 10 will make you laugh with their hilarious views.
Hello and welcome to the Ram Network as we take a look at tonight's WWE Live PLE Money in the Bank from Toronto, Canada. Joined with me is the First Lady of the Arn Anderson Fan Club, Miss Amy Vaughn.
Hello, hello.
And the Ram Network's Director of Fun, Mr. Justin Yett. How are you doing, Justin?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Pretty good. Excited for the pay-per-view tonight. I still call them pay-per-views. I try to be a minion and call them premium live events, but I'm still paying for Peacock. So
I hear you. I think the card looks good. I think it's going to be a good show.
I think most of the build too was good. Last time on SmackDown, it's like they had everybody involved walking around ringside.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it just gets convoluted. It was a match between Bayley and Piper Niven.
Yeah.
But all the attention was who's lurking at ringside. It just got busy.
Yeah, I think that there's a healthy balance, right? So when Triple H took over, he's trying to get as many people on the screen, even if it's for a couple minutes at a time, to get the exposure that was done in the Attitude Era, right? And so it's a healthy balance, right? And I think sometimes there isn't that balance that we would like, but I like the fact that they're giving people screen time that you normally wouldn't have seen probably in the Vince era, right?
True.
Oh, DIY winning the tag titles last night was definitely crowning of Triple H guys.
Definitely. Oh, yeah. I do like them lurking around versus sitting on ladders and talking like we saw that one year. So I agree with what you're saying, Justin. I like that. I like them kind of lurking. But anywho,
I give a shout out to Michael Cole on the pregame, on the whatever you call it, pregame, the kickoff.
Mm-hmm.
When they were there yesterday, he had everybody, all the participants sitting on the stage with each other. And you got guys that got heat with each other on the same stage. And Michael Cole says, well, I want to remind everybody that we agreed to no physicality. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I liked that little detail. Sometimes I think it's kind of silly, but the little details still mean something to me. And
it's not silly, Palm Water. It's the little details that help you stay. You know, we all know it's, a fairy tale, a male soap opera, as they say, but giving it those little nuances helps keep you in, in the realm of storytelling, and that they're really, like you said, that they really have beef with each other, and but again, just saying that explains why they're all sitting there, and it makes sense. So, I like it too. I think it needs more of it. I think
we're getting it. It's something that's coming. Before we get into predictions, y'all tell me what match are y'all looking the most forward to tonight?
Justin, I'll let you go.
So as you can see with my wrestling wall, I'm a huge women's wrestling supporter. So for me, it's the women's Money in the Bank. I think for them to be given the same time as the men with the ladder matches, they always pull it out. So I'm excited to see what they are able to do, especially with the young talent. We'll talk more about that in the predictions.
Are you disappointed there's no women's title match tonight?
No, because I think they are progressing storyline without the pay-per-view. And I like the fact that a title doesn't have to be defended every pay-per-view.
I just didn't know if it took away from the possibility of a cash-in, the anticipation of a cash-in. But I see what you're saying too, and I don't know that there was a real story. I mean, it could have been a throwaway title match.
Right.
Yeah.
And we are building towards SummerSlam.
And I do think, and we'll talk about this later, I do think there will be a cash-in. So I'll explain that later in my
Yeah,
predictions. But
I think I purposely put the men's title match last as wishful thinking and hopeful booking or whatever you want to call it.
Paul
They
Motter,
are.
which one? Oh,
And
Oh, they are the main event tonight. It's the main event.
it will
from
be the
what
main
I've heard.
event.
Yep.
Amy,
interesting.
so the men. What's your favorite? The match that you're looking forward to most?
Honestly, I think I'm looking forward to the Bloodline versus Cody, Kevin, and who's the other one?
AO, Randy Orton.
Randy
yeah,
Orton. Thank you.
RKO.
Yeah,
The reason why is because I wonder. I feel like there's going to be some shenanigans. Either some other body's going to show up. Maybe Roman Reigns. Like I feel like there's going to be something that's really going to put a turn towards some. So I'm interested to see how they do that tonight.
I've seen some reported appearances in Toronto, and I'm not going to give them here because I don't want to give any spoilers, and I don't know how reliable those sources were. So
True.
I don't want to be that show that I mean, if I was, I'm going to tell you that that Kevin Von Erich with his sons Marshall and Ross were seen in Toronto today. How about that? I mean, I can give out false information like everybody else.
I was going to say,
if the Von Erichs show up on that show tonight, y'all are going to swear I knew.
Well, if it's about the Von Erichs, I wouldn't doubt it. I'd be
the
like,
only reason I said it is Andrew Hermes is in the chat, and I like to whip his ass with Von Erichs constantly.
Oh yeah,
Catherine Summers is in the chat too, and she's saying that she can't wait for tonight. And I'm hoping that I'll see her over on Ad Free Shows watching this with me tonight.
Oh, are you doing the watch along over there? Are you going to do a watch along? Awesome. Paul Motter, what match are you looking forward to? You didn't tell us.
Intercontinental title. I'm hoping this is Braun Breaker's coming out party.
Yep.
He's the next beast. He's the next beast for WWE, and I think defeating Sami Zayn and then just going on an absolute Gunther, Goldberg, Brock Lesnar type tear is the best thing that they could do with him right now.
Yeah, I we'll talk about it during the prediction, but I agree that's got to be his coming out party. So
Sammy doesn't need the Intercontinental title,
and I think we could actually see Sammy with the Usos, and you know what I mean. Like he could be used in that way against the Bloodline. So we'll see. We shall see.
We will. So let's jump into it right off the bat. And I'm just guessing. I don't know the order of the matches tonight, but I would think that this probably kicks off. If a Money in the Bank match doesn't kick it off, I think this match could possibly kick it off. And Cody's been going first lately. I would like to start that rumor that Cody is Hulk Hoganish, that he wants to get it over with so he can beat the traffic. Oh, I'm in full crap disturber mode today.
You are making up all kinds of stuff.
But Brock had that same caveat in his contract, right? He was either first or last. So he was either going to be the main event or he was out as soon as the pay-per-view started. So I don't think that's a bad
I don't think the pre-show would have insulted him.
Well, yeah, I think for the money he was making, put me on the pre-show or put me on the pre-show's pre-show. So
all right. So we got the WWE champion Cody Rhodes teaming with RKO, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens against the Bloodline, Solo Sikoa, and I don't know if it's Freebird rules. I'm guessing that I'm not trying to be funny. Maybe Jacob can't go to Canada. I don't know. So I don't know which combination they're going to use tonight. But
they were really vague with that. So we know
Tamatonga, Tongaloa. Am I saying they're because they changed their names again?
I don't know their names.
The Bloodline. It works.
The Bloodline.
Yeah.
And if it's Freebird rules, we could see any of them.
Yep.
How crafty would it be that if you had the three of them without, and then Solo was at ringside?
Yeah, that is a very big possibility. I actually think I like that. I mean, why should he get his hands dirty, right? Like let the other three do it.
Yeah. The
I
graphic
like
was
that.
Jacob and Tama.
Yeah,
Thank you for that,
Hmm.
Andrew. I had a hard time finding a decent graphic for this. But I think it's going to be a good match either way.
yeah, I think by leaving Solo out of it, I think it further develops him as their tribal chief, right? In this new bloodline. If
Yes.
they're truly going to set up a comeback for Roman, basically
Hmm.
make him as equal and as powerful as Roman by leading it.
Oh,
So
Tonga has travel issues.
Oh,
I
Andrew said that
well, I'll
we
tell you what, they
oh
were making fun of Jay. They were making fun of Jay Uso's travel issues.
yes,
They were making fun of it last night. They made fun of it
mm,
on the opening on the kickoff show, but they triggered him with it on SmackDown last night, and I thought it was kind of, I guess, I like that kind of stuff.
well, it's family picking on family. I mean,
Yeah,
right? I mean, that just I mean, that's kind of part of it. They're all, we shall see who will show up tonight. We don't know.
I will say if this starts off the premium live event, I think it's already on fire with the match how they've set it up. So I couldn't see the crowd being cold for this, right?
Hmm.
Ultimately, you want that first match to start the pace of the premium live event. So I could see them starting with one of the Money in the Banks, but this one is just as equal because I think there's some passion and some heartburn around that. So I think it should be a good contest. I think if I was booking this, I would have the Bloodline go over to further set up the match for SummerSlam.
Yeah, I don't see how you don't have the bloodline going over. I mean, you just introduced Jacob Fatu, the Tonga and Tama are relatively new. I mean, in a sense, and Solo's trying to show his dominance as a tribal. Is he calling himself tribal
he's the new
chief?
tribal chief.
He's the
Okay.
yeah.
I was thinking for some reason he had a different name, but I think the bloodline goes over. But I think there's going to be some shenanigans. I don't think it's a fair fight.
I agree. I think the bloodline goes over, and I think Solo pins Cody.
Mm.
I think Solo pins Cody. Uh, I don't. I'm with Andrew. Roman's not showing up for this. If Roman returns, it's going to be at SummerSlam. Maybe he'll cost Solo the championship.
Hmm.
So, but I do think that this match ends tonight with something's going to go on. I don't know if RKO is going to break up this fast
No, I hope
because
not.
they got new merch.
Mm.
And they haven't milked it long enough.
You,
But I do think that Solo. I definitely think that the smart play is for Solo to pin Cody in the build to SummerSlam.
hmm I did read, I don't know how accurate it is, but the Tama and Tonga have another brother. Haku has another son that has been signed to the WWE. So
There's
we'll
two
just
of them,
Tala.
and they, uh,
Tala.
and I'd read somewhere that Hulka,
Haikalua
Hulka.
from New Japan.
No, they were trying to trademark Hulka.
Oh,
Hulka
they're
Sokoa.
well, again, like we said, the
And
bloodline has many, many limbs, and
well, yeah,
so
you got
there's
Zilla,
no telling. Yeah,
and you got this other kid. I mean,
Yeah.
they're coming out of the woodworks.
I like that though. Like I really think I like this bloodline. Whether they knew that when they started it, like how awesome this could be. Oh yeah, Rikishi. Yeah, that's Zilla, isn't it? Or no?
Man, I can't keep up with them.
I will say though, I don't
Yeah.
see them pulling the trigger of bringing Roman back at SummerSlam.
No,
I think if they're smart, they keep Roman off the TV as long as they can, possibly until the Rumble, and then have Solo continue to build his bloodline. If he keeps adding soldiers into this bloodline, like family members,
Hmm.
it makes him unstoppable. You almost want Roman to come back and defeat them at that time, right? And have
Well,
Roman start
Roman's
building
not
it
going to
up.
be able to do it without Jay and Jimmy.
I get it. So he's got to come back at that point and start building an army. I see this as a bloodline versus bloodline at WrestleMania.
And I hope they include Sami Zayn
Definitely.
in it, because Sami Zayn to me has not been the same since the bloodline storyline.
Well, if
He
you
is-
keep adding, he's definitely going to be needed. You
Right.
know?
Yeah. All right, let's move to the next match, which was my match of the night. Braun Breaker against Sami Zayn. I do think this is the coming out for Braun Breaker. I think if he loses this match tonight, if he loses this match in any form other than getting himself disqualified for absolutely killing Sami Zayn, it
Mhm.
hurts him.
Mm.
If they've got big plans for him, we need him to roll tonight.
And I think,
agree.
like oh, go ahead, Justin.
No, go ahead, Amy. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and I think it makes sense to what you said about the bloodline and Sami Zayn. Get the title. I agree with what you're saying with Braun Breaker. That definitely needs to be, his coming out. He's been dominating. And I think Sami Zayn, the title needs to come off because they need him to be involved with the bloodline. So, like, get the title off of him
It's-
because he's going to move into a different story.
It's a lackluster title reign, even with the great defenses against Chad Gable.
I think Chad Gable should have won that title.
I do too.
I don't think Sami should have ever had it, but I agree.
But Chad's not dead in the water. They didn't kill him dead. And I said that the last one, that if he didn't win, that they were killing him. And they've got plans for him, so they haven't killed him.
True.
So Pondwater, we did this last month for the last premium live event, and we picked the Intercontinental Championship to be the match of the night. So I'm going to challenge you. Do you feel that this is your match of the night, similar to what we picked as a barn burner, or is it just because it's Braun's coming out party?
I think it's Braun's coming out party. I do not think this is going to be match of the night. I mean, have we seen Braun Breaker get in deep water yet?
Mm.
No. And I think the way that they're portraying him on the main roster is great. He's destroying people.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
look, he's taking them out left and right. So I think this is a perfect opportunity to pull the trigger. And I agree. This is his coming out night tonight, July 6th. Mark that down. The Ram Network chooses Braun Breaker.
There we go. So we're all saying Braun then.
Correct.
I'm keeping track. All right. Moving right along. The men's Money in the Bank match. I have the odds, the actual gambling odds, the line printed on here, thanks to my good friend Efren, host of the game event. He provided it and actually explained to a member of a group chat, like a 5-year-old, how the odds worked. So
Mhm.
there's only one odds-on favorite here, and that's Jey Uso, which I don't in any way, shape, form, or fashion think that him holding the Money in the Bank is compelling at all. With no
See-
disrespect to him, because he's red hot,
Right.
but I don't think the Money in the Bank briefcase helps him.
Well, and I think because he is part of the bloodline story, it makes sense for one of them to interfere and cost him the Money in the Bank. Wouldn't you do that to someone you despised? I think he gets taken out. I think that, again, I think it's going to be something that just puts another little notch in the feud. But I think somehow the bloodline costs Jey Uso the
Yeah.
opportunity, whether they knock him off of the ladder or, they do something when he's up there. I think they knock him out.
If we see Andrade is the biggest underdog at plus 2,000.
Hmm.
I don't disagree with that. I don't think that Andrade's. They've been pushing him really hard. I don't know that. I mean, I'm looking at where it goes from here. And I think the reason I went against Andrade on this is because yesterday at the kickoff, he got very little time to talk because he doesn't speak good English.
Right.
So, but I think he would if he had Zelina Vega with him, if he had a manager, he could do good things as Money in the Bank. But if I don't see it, and I think that the odds are probably correct here.
So I actually see this is Jimmy, right? I keep getting the two twins.
This is Jay.
Oh, yes.
Jay. So I see Jay winning, and I see this as a short cash in tonight. I see him holding it for very little time. There's not a compelling storyline with him carrying the briefcase. I think the only one that I could see with a storyline besides LA Knight is Drew. I think that's the entertaining piece of having the briefcase, right? Not knowing when they're going to cash in. I don't know if Jay can get that storyline over, right? So I think if he does win, it's a quick cash in tonight.
But are you going to do that just to make him drop it to Walter? I mean,
I don't think it'd be
not Walter to
successful.
Gunther.
So we've seen unsuccessful cash-ins. I think Jay's the next unsuccessful cash-in.
You think he gets it and tries and doesn't?
Yep.
All right, okay, I'm with you.
Let me weave this web to you, okay? This is what I think would be compelling. Drew wins the Money in the Bank. Okay? He goes to cash it in on Priest, who defeats Seth Rollins tonight. CM Punk costs him the cash in. They take their feud to a Hell in a Cell type match at SummerSlam.
That's possible. Hey, how about this? Just off the top of my head. What if Jay wins the Money in the Bank and the Bloodline destroys the World Heavyweight Champion tonight, and Jay slides in for an easy cash in, and then Jay Uso is the World Heavyweight Champion and in the Bloodline?
But do you see him bending to his brother as the tribal chief? To me, I can't see him bowing to Solo.
He's got that yeet thing going. I don't see him anything but a good guy.
It would crush the masses.
Yes, and I don't really know if you need that because you literally have.
They're already pretty one-sided.
Well, we've talked about how there's at least 4 other ones that we know of. Rikishi has 2 more children. Haku has another son coming through. So I mean,
yeah, but some of those guys could come with Roman and make new stars.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah. That's very true.
That's the best part about WWE now is that you can sit here and fantasy book it, and it's so unpredictable.
Yes.
It's hard to predict the unpredictable, and it's been a long time since wrestling hasn't been unpredictable. I mean, it's been predictable for so long, and it's not now.
Well, and that's why it's not even smart money to put your money on Jay. I mean, it's almost smart.
Oh, I wouldn't. I think that's a red herring.
Yeah.
I really think the odds-on favorite is Drew, but I'm going to say Chad Gable.
Ooh, interesting.
Because he called himself Master in the Bank.
Yeah,
he can make it part of his, and Otis and them have shunned him. He can't get back in.
Mm-hmm.
The White Six are chasing him.
Mm-hmm.
I think with the Money in the Bank briefcase, and maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't know what's going on with the White Six and him.
Mm-hmm.
But Chad Gable just seems like, out of everybody up here, he seems like the obvious choice to have the Money in the Bank briefcase. LA Knight doesn't. He may desperately need it, but I don't think it works on faces.
No, it doesn't.
But see, I think you can give it to LA Knight and turn him heel, and he's a amazing.
Much
person
better
on the mic. So this is a great opportunity now. Give that man the briefcase. Allow him to do what he does on the mic. Turn him heel. He's the only one that I can see. LA Knight is my choice for tonight.
Okay.
So this is our first one. So I've got Drew, you've got LA Knight, and you have Chad Gable. Ooh, this is gonna be fun. We all have somebody different.
And we're not going with the odds-on favorite, so
No.
I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's over. Man, that crowd is so behind him with that yeet.
Yeah. I agree.
He don't need it. And there's
Well-
no good outcome. I mean, it's not a good outcome if he gets it and he cashes in and fails to cash in. That's against him. If he gets it and then, unless you're going to let him run for a while, and I don't see it. I truly believe that Gunther's going to be the world champion come SummerSlam.
Yeah. So it's who do you feed as the transitional champ between
Yeah.
now and then?
I mean, it almost makes sense for Damian Priest to hold it until SummerSlam.
And see if this is just my thing too. If Drew has a failed cash in tonight, I feel like that makes Damian Priest stronger, because he is kind of a transitional, like, he can fend them off, even though Punk will cost him. But could you imagine the fury of Drew McIntyre and that's like I said, and just like I want him, I want him in a cage, I want to destroy him, I want to, I don't know. I just think that, but something that you said earlier, Palmwater, the unpredictability is awesome because we can come up with a story. You picked LA Knight because you could see a story with him. You picked Chad because you see a story. I picked Drew and I have my story. Like, it's not just, why the hell did they do that? You know what I mean? It's not just
Right.
like, how
Or
did
could one of these
Otis-
guys get eliminated and replaced by CM Punk tonight?
See,
I mean,
and that's where I kind of go to. So they did the red herring of writing CM Punk off, right?
yeah.
On SmackDown a couple weeks ago. What is he not cleared right now, and they're trying to write it off to where he's not good for SummerSlam? They just announced Bad Blood. That's going to have a hell of a
Well,
show.
they've been letting him do so much. I mean, normally people that aren't cleared don't get to do anything physical, and he's gotten to do things physical.
Yeah.
And I
So
think
I don't
that's
believe that he's
great.
not. I don't believe that he's still not cleared.
Yeah.
I just think they're able to get us talking where we weren't able to talk probably a year and a half ago. So I like this. It's anybody's guess. So,
Yes.
Really. And there
Last-
are compelling stories with all of them, really. They could do something. Carmelo Hayes is the, newcomer, and how awesome would that be? That is Carmelo Hayes, right?
It is.
Willie
Okay, I thought so.
Willie Buck says it's Jey Uso.
Jey Uso. See, this is going to be a great one. I feel like this was the one match that I wasn't 100% confident, in what I was thinking, because I really do feel like there are lots of different stories here.
Darren Staley's 100% that Drew wins.
Let's go,
We're
Darren.
we're all over the place. I love this.
Definitely.
May jump on and do a post show.
I'm in.
I'll be asleep. Y'all know I may be asleep before this is over, honestly.
Now let's talk about the good one. Let's talk about the good ladder match.
This one's going to be fun.
The women's Money in the Bank. Again, we're going to start with the odds-on favorite, Tiffany Stratton at -180. And would be a good holder of the briefcase. Tiffy time definitely would work. Then you got your highest rated underdog as Chelsea Green,
Mm-hmm.
who I think is 100% the choice to win this match.
I agree. I do.
I mean, she is custom made for carrying this briefcase.
I completely agree.
I mean, you got Zoe at +1200, Naomi at +1400, which surprises me that EO at +3300, because I would put Naomi at +3400. She's not sniffing the opportunity.
I think the reason they put EO at 3,300 is she won last year. So I don't think they see her winning back to back. However, she's talented. So I disagree with that ranking there as well.
Do you think she had a good title reign?
I think it was marred with Bailey, right? And so I think it built the storyline correctly for their WrestleMania match, but I don't know if it gave her the shining moments that she needed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Tiffy time, I think, but Tiffany Stratton, I'm with you though. I like the idea of Chelsea Green. I think she could really, like you said, almost like a Carmella, the way Carmella was with her Money in the Bank, that first one. I don't want to say annoying, but you know what I mean? Like kind of coming out, having it like it definitely has that personality.
Oh,
And
she could cash it in at SummerSlam if Nia Jax beats Bailey.
I
You know,
think that
she's with Nia. She immediately turns on her with that briefcase.
yes, and I think Chelsea Green's a decent wrestler. I mean, it's not like, she's just out
Oh,
there,
Chelsea Green's every bit as good as every one of them on that screen.
right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's not like like you're putting her out there and she was a model
Look at
first.
everything that she's been asked to do over the years. The bride gimmick,
Mhm.
the left at the altar bride. The what did they call her? The Bridezilla, or I can't remember what they called her when she was the bride, but her lipstick, I mean, she put the makeup on. She was crazy.
Yeah.
The jilted bride gimmick, she was so good at it. She's been good at everything they've asked her to do. I mean, the Karen character that she's been playing. Let me talk to your manager.
Mhm.
She's completely carried it all out to a T. She's the epitome of chicken shit hill.
Mhm.
Well, and then you throw in the mix of having Piper Niven in her corner, right?
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
And so that just
Mhm.
makes her even more unstoppable with that briefcase.
yeah. She talks shit and gets behind Piper. You gotta
Yeah.
love that.
And I think she could become a champion. I mean, I think she would, I think she could cash it in and be the world champion or
The-
women's champion. I don't know what they
And
call it.
truthfully, most of your Money in the Bank cash ins are transitional champions.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, of course.
The only thing I see in Tiffy's corner, right, is she's building that relationship with Nia, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's almost to the point where they're building that Bliss and Nia connection again, to where almost Nia does accomplish and wins the title at SummerSlam. Then you have the ability for Tiffy to turn on her and go after the belt at that point. So I don't know if it's Tiffy time yet. I'm not sold on Tiffy time, but I definitely think tonight will be a hell of a match, and Chelsea Green is my choice for the women's Money in the Bank.
So
We
me
did
and
it again.
me and are we all on the same page with Chelsea?
Yeah, I picked
Yes.
Chelsea too.
And I can't wait to see Matt Cardona claiming to be half of the
Women's.
WWE Women's
Oh
Champion.
yeah, or Money in the Bank holder.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like the-
Mr. Half of Money in the Bank. Because he'll buy a briefcase. He'll buy a briefcase off the shop and show up with it. It shows.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Have you heard her talk about when he showed up in Japan with a replica of the women's tag team belt,
Didn't people go nuts?
and thinking that he actually took the real tag team belt to Japan with him because half of what's hers is his?
That's great.
He is the world's best at troll. Like, he put Money in the Bank on his schedule.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
He's always trolling that way that you never know. Like, he'll release his schedule of all these indie shots he's got, and then he put Money in the Bank WWE Toronto.
Well, so they interviewed her this week, and they asked, and she said he's on his way to see her win Money in the Bank. And so I love the fact that they're supportive of each other. They
Heck
asked
yeah.
her, hey, would you like to see Matt back? And she goes, yeah, I don't want to tag with him. I'd like him and Steph to come together and do what they're doing for GCW. So I do like the fact that they're supportive of each other. They're able to mess with the audience as much. But I do see her winning as a sign that possibly he's coming back.
I would like to see him come back, and I'd like to see him make an impact and not just be a Royal Rumble surprise entrant.
Mhm.
I think he would be very, very good as maybe your go-between for WWE and TNA,
Yeah.
and maybe not be your NXT representative. Because, I mean, Cardona and Moose for the big title.
Mhm.
Because right now that relationship is TNA NXT. But I think that he would be good on all those levels. And I don't know if you do anything with him being an indie god.
Well, not only that, but the relationship he has with Cody, you can build that into the storylines as well, to where at least we get our this is sponsored by the boys, but Homelander, heel turn of Cody Rhodes against
How thrilled do you think Cody was?
Cardona.
He actually got to wear Homelander's cape to shoot that promo.
That's perfect.
I mean, every one of these shows we've done, I have re-emphasized that Cody Rhodes is Homelander.
Oh yeah.
If he wasn't so good with them kids, I mean, I want to see. That's what I want to see with Cody. I want to see Cody go full Homelander.
I hope that they've learned through Roman that it's safe to turn your top guys heel. I mean, imagine if we'd have gotten Cena as a heel. I mean, his rap gimmick he was good at, right? And so I think he could have pulled it off.
But I think there's something to having with these kids. And what I've seen Cody do with these kids, I think it was that way with WWE, but also their liaison to the to Make-A-Wish, and Sue Atchison's not with the company anymore.
Yeah.
So you never know with the UFC leadership, they may completely embrace that F them kids mentality.
But think about it. Roman's dad passes away the next day. He's in the hospital, taking care of kids. So
yeah,
exactly.
I there's still a way to break character and show that you can be that person. So, Julia, you think the Punk's going to interfere in the women's Money in the Bank?
She's.
I'm teasing with her. I think ultimately, at the end of the day, though, I think we're on agreement. It's Chelsea for the win.
Yeah,
Chelsea,
definitely.
And
I do agree with Julia, though. I do agree with Julia that we're going to see Punk tonight.
Yeah,
definitely. Do we see the Wyatt Six? Do you think?
I think so. There's been people saying that maybe it's a ruse that they're after Chad Gable. Maybe they really are after Jey Uso, right? Because every time they've come out, Jey Uso's also been out there as well. So it's not just where they're going after Chad. So I don't know. I mean, I think they could definitely have an impact. If not, they lose the opportunity for a bigger audience to see them, because right now they're just Raw.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and again, Jey Uso getting take out of Money in the Bank because of interference. Like you said, maybe it's not the bloodline. Maybe it's the Wyatt Six that, does something. Could actually take out Gable and Jey.
Yep.
In some way, if Gable runs off because he thinks they're after him, should be interesting.
And finally, the main event. Damian Priest defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Seth freaking Rollins. Man, one thing I can guarantee for sure tonight is a cash-in.
I think y'all heard my prediction. I think it's pretty good too. WWE, call me. No. I think that Damian Priest defeats Seth Rollins. I think he needs that, because he is a transitional champion. I think he needs to defeat Seth Rollins. And I think that Drew tries to cash in because Damian cashed in on Drew. So he's going to be like tit for tat. And I think CM Punk screws Drew out of that cash in. And then Drew cannot see straight. And he will demand some kind of Hell in a Cell, some kind of Punjabi prison match, whatever they want to do, so that he could get his hands on him and just tear him limb to limb. Ta. No.
I take back. I don't think there's going to be a cash in tonight, because I do think Chad Gable's going to win the briefcase, and I think there's money in Chad carrying it for a little bit and picking his spot.
True. So who do you think wins?
I think Seth Rollins wins.
You do?
I think Seth wins. I didn't expect Seth back this fast. I think that Damian Priest's title reign has been underwhelming. I'm sorry that it has. It's not what Seth had it. Seth had that title as the most important title in the company. You talk about all the days Roman was champion. Seth defended it more in a month than Roman did in 2 years. So
Yep. Do you change it though if you really think Gunther's going to win in 30 days? I mean, in less than.
who's
I
going
mean,
to
if he's
give you
going to.
who's going to give you a better match at SummerSlam, Seth or Priest against Gunther?
And bigger pops when Gunther wins.
I think Gunther's more the legitimate champion.
I think Rollins is only back for a little bit. I think they pulled him too early because of the same thing that you said, Dave. The draw just isn't there with
Maybe
Damian Priest.
he's back because Becky's home.
Yeah, but wouldn't you want to be home together with your daughter for a couple months?
I mean, he's married to her. I mean, she annoys me, but I don't have to live with her.
I think the world of Becky Lynch. So I think, to me, he's transitional to get it to Gunther.
This hoe done called me David. Oh.
Dave hates children.
I've raised a bunch of them.
But no, I truly think when I heard Rollins come back, it was too soon, and I didn't expect to see him till much later in the year. So that either says they don't have belief in Priest as a champ, or they're just feeding him to Priest before Gunther. So
I don't know why, but Priest as champion hadn't worked. And some guys it doesn't work. You knew he was going to cash in. I mean, he passes the eye test. I just don't know I don't know how everybody else feels. It may just be me, but I think it's been a miss. I think it's been along the lines of how Hangman Page was the AEW champion. He got there and they didn't, and it just didn't. It fell flat.
So let me ask you a question. Is it because they didn't combust Judgment Day? Because to me, I saw the end game being Balor coming out as the demon, right? And taking on Priest for it. And I think they missed the boat in that. I think ultimately at the end of the day, they've been hinting that Damian Priest doesn't need the Judgment Day, right?
Kind of.
And so at the end of the day, I expected this match to be Finn Balor versus Priest by Money in the Bank, the way that things were growing. But now they've got the tag belts. They're a little bit stronger than what they are. The caveat to this match is if he does lose the belt to Seth, he's out of Judgment Day.
But now that you mentioned that, though, yeah, and Seth's saying he won't challenge again as long as he's champion. Changes at SummerSlam because there's no way that he beats Gunther.
Right.
I've got a Walter action figure autographed right in front of me, and that's why I keep going Walter. You can't see it on camera, but
yeah, again, this is all very compelling. It makes you wonder which way they're going to go.
So maybe he does retain. Maybe he does retain because I just don't see what do you do with him if he's not part of the Judgment Day.
Yeah. And have we 100% confirmed that Gunther is going for the Raw Championship right now? I think it's too soon to take it off.
I think
Cody.
Gunther said he was going after the World Championship.
Okay, all right.
Because he told Damian and Drew he didn't care which one of them had it.
Well, and I feel like Damian Priest needs to be part of the conclusion of Mommy and Liv and all that storyline that's going on. So I don't think Damian Priest needs to be kicked out of Judgment Day. They still have that big story. Like you said, what else is he going to do if he's not in Judgment Day? I kind of,
So maybe he does become larger than life with a win over Seth tonight.
Yeah, this could be a way to bring Seth back to say, hey, I beat him.
How do y'all love this? How do y'all love our prediction show where we're all scared to make a prediction? We just don't know.
My prediction
up.
is I think Priest retains.
I
do
hate
I think it's too
predictable.
early.
I hate predictable wrestling, and that's why I'm loving WWE as much as I'm loving it.
Yeah, there's no predicting definites.
Yeah.
Well, you saw the odds, like 3,300, 1,800. I mean, there's no, 2-to-1 odds on anybody.
Well,
Their
all
odds
I
are not
can-
good.
all I can say is if you bet on EO, you're gonna make some money if she repeats that Money in the Bank.
Heck yeah.
So
I'd be shocked if that happened.
yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't have anything. I mean, like you said,
I will say that if Andrade were to get that briefcase, I'd be super excited for him.
I would too, but they would definitely need to put Zelina back with him. I think it helps
Mhm.
both of them. As long as she can continue to wrestle and still draw some heat, I don't see her fitting as much with the LWO as I did with Andrade. It
Mhm.
just was a perfect.
They were a
pairing.
good pairing.
Yep.
Were a tremendous pairing.
definitely.
Or
So-
maybe, just maybe, put him with his wife.
Yeah, I don't know if that'd work. I mean, I love Charlotte. Don't get me wrong, but
But
I
if
don't know
Charlotte-
if
if
Charlotte
Charlotte-
as the
if
mouthpiece
Charlotte-
for her husband.
But what if
I-
Charlotte? But what if Charlotte? I mean, I'm assuming that we do this. He goes full heel. But Charlotte interfering in a match and doing something to anybody he's wrestling is believable.
I
Yeah,
agree.
but
There's not
don't
very
you
many
think-
women. There's not very many women that can pull that off.
Yeah, but we already know she's the bigger star. Would you want to amplify that by her interfering in matches and helping him win?
Unless she's fine with stepping back a couple, she's still gonna outshine him, and I don't know if that's
Yeah.
good for his career or not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
y'all could be right. I'm just
Not
saying
saying that.
I'm
not
thinking she
saying
could
that-
make him a bigger star.
Yeah, I don't disagree. You definitely have to have them in a storyline together that helps elevate Andrade even more than what he is today, right?
Mhm.
But I can
need
tell
a-
you,
You need a mouthpiece that's a heel.
Zelina is on fire when it comes to that mic, and she's with Andrade.
Yeah, I agree. I like Zelina. I think that's a good pairing with Andrade.
Well, all right.
Well,
The one prediction that I'm 100% positive of that's going to be accurate is that we're in for a hell of a night of wrestling.
Definitely.
Pro wrestling's back in the WWE, and this is going to be a great night of it. Triple H put out a video on his way to the arena when he's from the back seat of his limo that he said it was going to be groundbreaking changes tonight.
Mm,
So
interesting.
I think there's some surprises. I think I don't know if they'll add a match or anything. I don't know if it to that extent.
Well, they better get to adding. It's almost 5:00.
They got you. They can surprise you. They got you. They can surprise you.
Well, and Dave, that's what I was just going to ask. We're at 4 matches, right?
5.
5. Okay.
And that's the
Five.
template.
Yeah, and it goes back to the same template that he had for Takeover, and
Mhm.
those takeovers worked. So I definitely I say no. If anything, you get a pre-show match, but you won't get one on the main PLE.
Yeah, and they're not even announcing a pre-show match.
Yeah,
Mm-mm. But like you said, there's a possibility of someone new with the bloodline. There's a possibility of Punk, the Wyatt Six. Who knows if there's anybody else that could possibly be coming back that could show up.
I need Braun Strowman in the White Six.
Oh, I was
Because
thinking
the
Braun
current-
Breaker when you said
No,
that.
I need
and that's
Braun
why
I need Braun Strowman part of the White Six because I think I think what they're currently doing with him is I don't think it's going anywhere. I think that he would be best utilized being in that group, especially since Eric Rowan's in it.
yeah.
I am interested to see how are we going to bring the Wyatt Six to the wrestling ring? How are we going to have Nikki Cross wrestle? How are we going to have Uncle Howdy wrestle? Like, how is this going to work? I'm very interested to see how they're going to do that.
Well, you put Braun Strowman and Eric Rowan together, and you've got a monster tag team right there.
Well, what about? I
And
mean,
they- and
Dexter
they
Loomis
strike-
is not. little. I mean, why couldn't Dexter Loomis and Braun Strowman and Eric Rowan be together?
I think Eric Rowan and like Luke Harper.
Mhm.
I mean, it's a big. I mean, they were the three there.
Sure. No, I understand.
I think for tag team competition, that's what you need.
Mhm.
I think that Dexter Loomis could be more of your smaller wrestlers. I mean, he matches up better with them.
Mhm.
So
I don't know that the Wyatt Six is all about titles anyway.
Right.
So
I don't think they should be. I'm sorry, Justin.
No, so I know we're talking Money in the Bank, but y'all just brought up a good subject, which is the Wyatt Six. So 6, right? And they're spelling
Mhm.
it SICKS, but on everything they have a 6 logo on all their merch, right?
Yeah, there's only 5
Mhm.
of them.
So if you're adding one, and I'm going to put it to both of you, would you add Alexa Bliss or would you add Braun Strowman? Who benefits the most off of the Wyatt Six?
Braun Strowman, because you've already got Nikki Cross. Alexa was the obvious choice, and you didn't go with her. And Nikki Cross can pull off what she's doing. So I think when Alexa Bliss comes back, I think she comes back as the little Spitfire that she's always been.
See, I think Bray Wyatt is the 6th member.
I've always thought that too.
So I don't think you add either one of them. I think this is the group, and you don't add people.
I just think to me, and I'm with you, because automatically when I heard about it, I thought that Alexa Bliss was going to be in there, and I thought Braun Strowman was going to be in there. I knew Eric Rowan would be in there. I didn't
like
see
you
Dexter
said-
Loomis, but that makes sense because that's a creepy looking guy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But like you said, that makes sense with Braun Strowman because he was in the Wyatt family.
Yes.
I mean, that's not a,
And
it's
he's
not like
recently exited. Like he
Yeah.
exited the episode they debuted.
Mhm.
Have we seen him about? He hasn't been back since then.
Yeah. He was back. He chased somebody around.
Okay. But that's what he does is he runs out and he chases somebody around the ring.
Yeah, he's our version of the new Big Show. I think that's
Oh,
how they're
my
using
God.
him. And I hate that for him because I think he's talented. I think there's a way to use a big man in the way that they were using him
You remember-
previously.
You remember back when he came on the scene? He had so much personality. Then they put him with Alexa for the mixed tag, but he was doing like vignettes, not so much for WWE, but they like dressed him up like an elf and had had him going around New York. And
Well, like you said, that's like Big Show when he was doing all the different personalities
but he was
which I'd liked myself, but
he was making a connection, and I think that you could have Hulk Hogan'd him.
Mhm.
And I think that window is closed.
He could have been a face, I think.
But he had that kind of appeal, and I think Vince mashed that out.
Mhm. Well, and he let him go at one. He released him at one
Yeah.
point. So I mean,
And I don't know if it's hard to work with or what.
Well, I don't think they would have brought him back if he was hard to work with. So he's not that big of a draw to where he could be, but he's not that big of a draw to where they're
They're going to have to do something with him besides having him run around the ring because you could do that. You can tell almost to go out and do that.
Yeah. So
Bliss.
All right. Enjoy the show tonight. Thank you for joining us here on the Ram Network for the Money in the Bank prediction show. Watch your notifications. We might be back as soon as the show's over tonight.
I will not, but y'all might.
Watch for it. We're going to be back after the show.
Yes.
Tonight. How about that?
Yes.
I think it'll be good.
That's not a prediction. That's a spoiler.
A spoiler.
That's a spoiler.
For Justin Yent, for the First Lady of the Arn Anderson Fan Club, Miss Amy Vaughn, I'm Palm Water Dave, and we will see you later. Thank you.